Okay, so we're live.
Nice.
So we're live. I'm just going to wait for people to join in.
Okay.
We are live, yes. Because this is 26 seconds already live. So I just wait for people to join in. Yeah. Once people join in now, I can see. I'll just put something here. Okay, we have somebody in the studio. I don't know who it is, but we have somebody there. Hi, welcome. Good afternoon, good evening from anywhere. I can't see your name in the chat, but if I can see your name, then I'll welcome you properly. If not, I'll just tell you a general welcome. So, this is my guest. Good afternoon, everybody. Good morning. Today we are live and we're going to be discussing about everything law as time permits us. So I don't say everything in Canada, and you know how you can settle up, get your feet running here. And I have with me in the show barrister David Sowe. He also has a YouTube channel. Yes, so you can do yourself some good by, you know, subscribing to his channel, because that's what he talks about majorly: law, lifestyle, and the likes. And he's doing pretty well in Canada as a lawyer. So that's one of the reasons why I invited him to the show. So you're welcome, David. Thank you so much for joining us today. You want to say
Thanks for
something?
inviting me. Yeah.
You're welcome. Yeah, so tell us a bit about your journey into the Canadian system as a lawyer. How did you get into Canada?
So I came to Canada in 2003. I came as an international student.
2003?
2003.
You're so young.
Just a couple of years ago.
A couple of years ago, 2003. This is 2022.
I know,
19
right?
years, wow.
Yeah, I came as an international student to do my first degree. So I did a first degree in labor studies, which was a 4-year program. And then when I finished, I worked for 3 years. I worked for an insurance company for about 3 years. And then I went back to law school to go and become a lawyer. But after you finish your law degree, you still have to do something called an ISNT, which is a 1 year. It's kind of like an internship. So 1 year you work under another experienced lawyer for 1 full year.
Babe, help me. Sorry, David. I'm with you.
No worries.
Just hold on. I want to be sure what is wrong with it. Sorry, David. I'm with you. No worries. Because we're still live though, so. Advert, it doesn't zoom. Okay, yeah, so we can. You said you did your bachelor's in something first, labor law.
I did my bachelor's in labor studies, so it's like human relations, human resources type.
Okay, labor studies.
Yeah, and then I went to work for an insurance company for 3 years, and then I went back to law school, back to the same university that I attended initially for law school.
Oh,
and then
okay.
Yeah. And when you graduate your law degree, then you have to do 1 year of articling where you're working under an experienced lawyer. So it's kind of like it's like an internship. So you do that, and then you get called to the bar, and then you become a lawyer. So that's my journey in summary.
So after my law school, I do 1 year internship, then I become a lawyer.
That is correct. So you get called to the bar, and now you can call yourself a lawyer.
Oh, okay. So how many years in total am I looking at?
I did my total was 8 years, but you don't have to do 8 years. Some people won't do the first degree. Some people may just do like a couple of courses. So they may just take, I think the requirement in my school was 60 credit hours. So that's about 2 years at the university. So you do the 60 credit hours, and then you go to law school. So you don't necessarily have to do what I did. I went 4 years first, 3 years law school, then the 1 year articling, which is, not necessary. Some people it's not necessary. Some people will do 60 credit hours, 2 years of undergrad work, and then they'll go into law school. So there are different pathways to it. There's no just one way to get into law. Yeah.
It's not just one way to get into law. Okay. Thank you so much. So what were the challenges like that you faced, like, you know, international students studying here? What were some of the challenges that you faced that you thought was challenging?
Several challenges, several distractions. I call them distractions because a lot of them are, because I think a lot of them are just people telling you that it's not possible to come to Canada and become a lawyer and go through school. Because I didn't do law in Nigeria. I came after high school in Nigeria.
So after high school in Nigeria.
That is correct. So after secondary school in Nigeria, I came right away. Some people would come after law school in Nigeria, which is a different path completely. So I think most of it are just distractions. People telling you it's very difficult to go through law school here. It's very difficult because of the financial constraints. You have to get loans because of just so many things that, so many things you have to overcome to become a lawyer here. So that would be one of them. It's the financial constraints for sure as an international student. Yeah, because international students would pay 100% differential fee. So if others are paying $5,000, you are paying $10,000 for tuition.
I can imagine. Oh, I can imagine. Okay, so for people that have done their law in Nigeria, how do they settle down here to become lawyers here in Canada?
Okay, so that's a completely different pathway. And before I even get into that at all, I'm going to say that it's like a disclaimer because I didn't come through that path. So I'm not really.
You didn't come to that path.
I didn't come through that path. So I'm not the expert in that field. So I would say do your own research, Google and get your own information on that. It's called the National Committee on Accreditation. It's the NCA program. So if you've already done your law degree in Nigeria or in UK or somewhere else, you have to go through the NCA first. And then once you go through the NCA and you pass, then you have to then article. So the articling process is what I find a lot of people struggle with when they come to Canada, finding somebody, an experienced lawyer to article under. It's not the easiest thing. Yeah, because you have to actually get someone to take you in. So, many of us don't have that network of lawyers already in the country. So I find that to be one of the most challenging pathways when you come through the NCA path is finding someone to article under. It's a very challenging process. Even for those that went to law school here in Canada, it's very challenging. Now,
it's still challenging.
Wow. It's still challenging. You send tons of resumes, no one calls you back. And then imagine you do your NCA and you're from Nigeria or from India or from the UK and you want to get into the legal profession. It's very difficult to get someone to actually trust you enough to want to give you the articles. It's a 1-year process, but that's I think is the most challenging part for the NCA candidates.
So for that 1 year, are they paid?
They are supposed. That's a really good question. They're supposed to be paid. Most people are paid. When I went through articling, I was paid, but because of the what I'm beginning to see is that because of the desperation of not being able to find articling, you would see people. I'll get emails from people telling me, "I'll work for you for free. I'll do it for free. I just want to get my articles done." And that really breaks my heart because that 1 year you are slaving away for another lawyer. You are the one running all the errands. You're running to court. You're running and getting lunch for the lawyers. You're taking the dry clean out for the lawyers, and you're doing all the So you should be paid for those 12 months. But a lot of people are not. They are so desperate that they will do it for free. And I think if there's anything you take away from this, I will tell you that don't let the desperation push you to working for free. It should be a paid program of 12 months and you should get paid for it.
Okay, but just imagine because I know it's something like I get frustrated. So if I don't get somebody to take me on time and I get what I can do for free, do I have some spare time to do maybe some jobs to keep body and souls together? Just perhaps. Do you have spare times or is it a full-time thing?
Articling is a full-time thing. It's a very, very demanding process. You're going to be working a lot of hours. You'll be the one doing the research. You'll be the one. When I articled, I was running errands for my principal. We would run errands, we'll get lunch. You're the one doing the research. You're the one doing, you go to court every now and then. So it is a very demanding process. You get home sometimes 7 p.m., 8 p.m.
And you're tired.
So, you're tired. I don't think you have time to go and, work somewhere else when doing articling.
Absolutely. I think so too. So then when they register with the NCA, they actually have exams, right? That they take exams before then do they have to go to law school here? Do I have to go to law school?
No, you don't. So once you've done your law school elsewhere, you do the NCA exams here, and then you look for articling. That's what you try to get next. So once you get through the articling process, you're supposed to just get called to the bar and become a lawyer. So that is the process.
That's the process. Okay. So do you want to tell us the aspect of law that we have in Canada? What are the aspects or branches of law that we have in Canada?
That's really good. And that kind of comes back to the title of the live session, the A to Z. There's no way we can cover the A to Z of practicing law.
I know.
Yeah, because there's just so many branches to law. I am who you call a personal injury lawyer, and personal injury law falls under civil litigation. Civil litigation is basically when you have two private individuals. It could also be corporations suing each other. That is when you have, that's when you get someone like me to get involved. The insurance company, I'm the guy.
Two private individuals.
Yeah, so two private individuals.
So you said two private individuals suing.
Like, you're actually breaking up.
Do we? What if I want to sue David? What would cost me to sue you? You said two private individuals suing each other because injury. I thought it was that to do with maybe accident. I don't know.
Yeah. So when two private individuals sue each other, so when you have a car accident as well, just as an example, you are not really suing the insurance company. You are suing the other driver, and the insurance company only pays on behalf of that driver. So all the lawsuits that most of the lawsuits that I deal with, it's two individuals suing each other. The insurance company only just jumps in and pays on behalf of the person at fault for the accident. So, or you want to sue a corporation, somebody, you have a contract with somebody and they didn't pay you. So you provided service to somebody, they didn't pay you. So that's also civil litigation. That's just one branch of law.
That's just one branch.
Also, that's just one branch. And you also have the criminal aspect of law where the state is coming against somebody for doing something criminal. So something wrong, there's an allegation that somebody assaulted somebody killed somebody, the state
that's criminal.
That is criminal. So the state itself would assume the role of coming after somebody else. So that's a completely different area of law. I don't practice that area of law. I do civil litigation. Personal injury insurance companies, that kind of stuff is what I do. Then you also have family law, which I find a lot of Nigerian lawyers here do, which is divorce, child support, spousal support, those kind of things. That's also a very, very popular area of law in Canada.
Yeah. Okay. But I know we're going to have a lot, just like nursing. We have a lot of branches of nursing and all that. But I would like to say that which one of these branches are kind of like you said, common, maybe not so common, but lucrative in the sense of like you can make more money from this aspect and this aspect. What aspect? Maybe like three aspects that you can venture into, and then if I want to, when I finish up law school, I become a lawyer. If I want to venture into injury law, do I have to study more, or it just qualifies me?
So there are two questions there that I picked up. I'll start with the first one about being the areas of law that are lucrative. So law is so dynamic in Canada that it's so difficult to say this area of law is the most lucrative, because it all depends on the city where you're in, number one. So the area where you're in and the area of law where you're practicing. So you could be in a small town and you could be the superstar lawyer in that small town, and you may be making a lot of money in that small town because you're the main person in that small town. So you could be doing real estate law, you could be doing family law, but you are the main. They need a lawyer. They know that's the lawyer in that small town. And you could be in a really big city. you could be in Calgary, you could be in Toronto, you could be in all those big cities, and you could be doing another area of law, wills and estate or something, and you may not make as much as the guy in that small town that is the main lawyer in that small town. So law is very dynamic in Canada. So it's very difficult to say, okay, if you do family law, you make money. If you do criminal law, you make money. It's really how you brand yourself, because it becomes, you're an entrepreneur at the end of the day.
Branding is important.
That is correct. So that's super important, that you have to be able to determine which area of law you're personally, you have a huge vested interest in first, and then determine where you want to work, because all those things would affect the kind of money that you get.
That you get.
Yeah.
Okay. So then I also, the other question was I can't even remember. What was my other question? I think the other question was, if I have to become an injury lawyer, do I need to study more? Like when I finally find my interest, do I need to study more to go for that interest?
And I think that is where the benefit of articling becomes to show itself. I think if you went to law school, say in Nigeria or in UK, and you really want to do personal injury law, I would say when you come to Canada, article with someone in personal injury law, because then you get hands-on experience from that lawyer. You don't need to do extra schooling for personal injury. It's actually most of it is straightforward stuff. So what you would need to do is to get experience from someone that has already done it before, or that is doing it already.
Okay. That means I have to determine what aspect I'm going into even beforehand, because if I have to do the articling, then I have to determine what aspect I'm going for, what aspect of law. Do you get what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying, but what we tell people is not necessarily. I tell people, when you go into law school, keep an open mind, and just
keep an open mind.
Keep an open mind. Be exposed to different areas of law. You may find that you like employment law. All of a sudden, you didn't like employment law before, but now you love employment law. That's a completely different area of law for you. Some people come into law school thinking they want to be a corporate lawyer because they've watched a lot of Suits, and they think they want to be Harvey Specter, they want to be a corporate lawyer, and they come into law school and they find that it's really, really boring. Like, corporate law is actually quite boring, and they find out that criminal law is for them. So, I tell people that law is so wide, so dynamic, so broad, that you want to keep an open mind. There's an area of law you've not really explored that you may end up finding useful and finding your passion for.
Amazing. Thank you so far. So then for universities, what are the universities that we have here that, because I like to always say strong suit. There's a university that their strong suit is not a particular course. So what are universities we have here that their strong suit is in law? Like if I want my child to come like you from Nigeria or anywhere to practice law, what are the strong suit universities I should look out for?
So what we've been told and what we tell people is that the Canadian legal system allows you to go to any common university in Canada. So you can go to any school and you would get quality legal education in Canada. So it's not like, if we compare to Nigeria, that we would say OOU Ife is a really good law school. Don't go there. Go to another school. Don't go to LAG. Go somewhere else. In Canada, if you go to University of Toronto, if you go to University of Saskatchewan, I went to University of Manitoba. In Winnipeg, and all the standard is pretty much the same in terms of the kind of legal education that you get. So there's no one school that really. I'm sure if you talk to students that went to University of Toronto, they will tell you, "Oh yeah, we have the best law school in Canada," or something.
I know.
But if you talk to people generally, lawyers generally, you can go to Dalhousie. You're going to get as though you go to the University of Saskatchewan in Saskatoon. Like, you're dealing with the same legal standard.
Okay. So for international student, what fee are they looking at to pay? Tuition. What tuition are we looking at? Say do you use semesters?
Okay.
Yes.
So every year you have to pay your tuition. So you pay tuition every year for schooling. Sometimes they will allow you to pay it every semester as well. But as an international student, so there are different levels to that, right? So let's say you're coming in like I did and you're doing your first degree. So you have to first worry about your tuition for the first degree first.
Like you did.
So you have to worry about that. You have to get through that. Yeah, like I did. We go through the first degree first, and I did it for 4 years. As I said before, you don't have to do it for 4 years. You can do it for 2 years. So you have to worry about that tuition first. When I went through school in 2003, we were paying $5,000 a year.
Okay, for the whole year
at the University of Manitoba. For the whole year, that's unheard of now. Unheard of. At this time, it's much more expensive now. When I went through law school, it's much higher now, much higher. When we went to law school, I was paying $12,000 per year for an academic year. It was $12,000 at the time. That's right, and you have to go for 3 years. And also, it depends on the school that you go to. So if you really want to go to University of Toronto because it has a big name, you're going to be paying much more than that. So many of us left law school in huge student loan debt. So it's not unusual unless you have parents that have a lot of money.
Did you come in as PR for you to get student loan? Did you come in as PR?
That's a good question. So the first degree, it was all international students' money. So what I did was when I graduated, I worked for 3 years to allow me to get my PR first.
Okay, so working for 3 years as a lawyer or just random work?
I was working in an insurance company first for 3 years in Calgary.
Okay.
So I worked for 3 years, worked for an insurance company as an adjuster for 3 years. At the time when I was doing that job, I was applying for my PR. So once I got my PR, then I was able to get student loans, bank loans, a lot of grants, like just the doors fly open once you become a PR.
Yeah, I see that too.
Yeah, so that's how I was able to access the funds to go back to law school.
Then you started paying your student debt after school. Your student loan.
That is correct.
You started paying them after school.
That is correct. So
loan really, I don't know. I feel, and the interest. So I feel it just, I don't know.
Well, something I should mention, and I think a lot of people don't know this, and it's probably the first time I'm mentioning this to people, is that when you go to professional programs, the banks, the five big Canadian banks, they have professional line of credit that they would give professional people. So doctors, dentists, lawyers, they have access to a ton of money when they go through law school. So aside from the government loans, you also have the student line of credit that you have access to, 0 interest when you are going through law school, when you're going through law school itself.
Okay.
So the interest starts to accumulate when you graduate.
Okay.
So as soon as you graduate, then the interest starts to accumulate. But when you're still in law school, you're 3 years in law school, you're not paying any interest, you're not paying any money back to them yet. So those professional lines of credit, a lot of people take advantage of it when they go through law school or med school or dentistry or whatever. So there's some specific professional programs where you have access to that line of credit from the banks.
Okay, so that line of credit is interest free and I can pay back when I'm done.
So they give you a 1 year. So they give you a 1 year gap. So there's a 1 year gap. So after you graduate, you have 1 year. You're not paying it off yet, but as soon as the 1 year gap is over, you start to pay it off. The only reason why you wouldn't get the loan is because you have like very successful parents that paid you. A lot of people in law school had to go through, using the line of credit to go through school, because I can't imagine you paying $100,000 after 3 years from your pocket or cash.
Wait, there is no blood money or ritual in Canada.
Yeah, I know, right?
I don't know where you get that money from.
That's right.
It's really tasking. Yeah, so this person, she has a question. I think we kind of answered this question, but I don't know if people are just trying to really join in. So if somebody studies in the UK as a lawyer, law graduate, if they want to come here for their masters, I think they just have to apply to schools, right?
They just have to apply to school. So, but there are two different things. So if you want to, there are two ways you can do it. You can either go into the master's program. If you want to practice, you're still going to have to do the NCA. So
you're still going to have to do the NCA.
You still have to do the NCA. Masters will get you into the country. So I do realize that a lot of people, it's to first get into the country. That's the first order of business.
Exactly. That's always my own first thing too.
That's the first order of business, right? So how do you get into the country? The easiest path for a lot of people will be to apply to do their masters. So if they are doing their masters in law, they get into the country. I know a lot of people that graduated from their masters and then go into NCA, but the path is much longer. It's just much longer because you're going to do your masters for 1 or 2 years, and then you do your NCA for another, probably a year. Then you go into articling for another year, and you have a family, you have kids, you're trying to put everything together. So the path is longer, but a lot of people have done it ahead of you. So I'm sure you can do it as well.
Okay, thank you. There is no easy way. Please, what's the easy way to make money in this life? There's no way that is easy. I'm looking for easy way. Every profession has its own, because I didn't know law is this broad. It's not my field, so
it is very broad. It is very broad, and I always tell people, I always tell people not to. It's just like anything. You can't go into it for the money part of it. If you go into it for the money part of it, most likely you will not get it. I think it's mostly just having a passion for it, going into it because you care about people, helping people out, and then the money just comes right after that. But I don't think if you go into it, I'm going to make a lot of money, I'm going to go into law, I'm going to be doing all these things, most likely you're not going to get to that point. I think if you go into it because you want to help people, because you're going to be dealing with real life problems, people's real life issues, you're going to be tackling with every day. So if you care enough about people, you want to help people out, and you have the passion to, to help people get out of those issues, the success and the money and all that stuff would come after the passion has been executed.
So I know that in Nigeria we have those kind of law that maybe when your neighbor just offend you, you call them, or you just say, I'm going to call my lawyer, or all this my goats eat your goats. The comfort, I don't know, all those kind of small things. If they have, what's the name?
I'm not sure what kind of law that would. Yeah, I'm not sure what kind of law that would be.
Another neighbor, they will call lawyer. That kind of law, you get.
Yeah, I'm not sure what kind of law that would be. I don't know, but it could be civil litigation, I guess, where a private person is suing another private person. But before you sue anybody here, you have to make sure the person has assets to be able to satisfy any judgment. So if you sue somebody for whatever, assault, they slapped you, and then you sue them, you have to. Does the person have money to satisfy a judgment? If you're suing someone that is destitute, that has no money to you've wasted the court's time. You've wasted your time, and you've wasted your lawyer's time.
Wow. Okay. So bring me to question. So comparing the law in Canada or law in the Western world to the law that we have, I know you didn't practice in Nigeria, but you probably maybe hear stories, and then sometimes feel like, what kind of law are these people practicing? So what are the comparisons? What are the difference? What are the weighty matters you feel, I don't think this is right, or I'm not trying for us to apportion blame, but I'm trying to make very nice comparison about the two law systems.
What I can say is I've met a lot of Nigerians that practice back home before coming here, and they make excellent lawyers here. They make make good lawyers here. We have some superstar lawyers in Canada doing big things. People that have practiced back home in Nigeria before coming. So I use that as the yardstick to measure the Nigerian legal system. We have some people. Yeah, I've met some people that went to IFE or University of Lagos, and they are just top-notch legal professionals here now because they're just good at what they do. And the legal system back home may not give them the environment to practice and do the things they want to do and be really successful at it. Well, as soon as they come here and they do their NCA, they pass their articling, and they become lawyers here, they just explode and they do really, really well. So I use that as my barometer to look at the Nigerian legal system. If they go back home, they may not have the same success. But here, applying all those, and also I think also the way they study back in Nigeria is so tough. And the conditions under which they study is so tough that when they come here and they have a much more encouraging legal system, they tend to do much better.
Oh, that's pretty good. So if I'm going to hire your service now, as I want to sue another private individual, am I the one paying you, or the government is paying you on my behalf?
So what I do,
or my insurance company?
So what I do, I'm going to explain how we get paid, which is different from how other lawyers get paid. How we get paid is through the insurance company. So if a regular Joe comes to us and they've been injured in a car accident, we don't charge them anything. The insurance company pays us. So at the end of me representing that person, that's when I get paid. So that person, because usually when you go through a car accident, you don't have the money to pay a lawyer. So the best way to get legal representation for that person, the best way to give that person access to justice is to represent them. And then when the case is resolved, the insurance company then pays me. Now, other lawyers don't get paid like that. Most lawyers get paid by, the client pays the lawyer through a retainer agreement. So they have to pay a retainer upfront. So when you go and see the lawyer, you want to get a divorce, for example, and you go and see the lawyer, you have to pay a certain amount of money into the hands of the lawyer. You could pay 5,000 or 10,000 that they hold on to. So as the lawyer is working, as the lawyer sends this letter, shows up in court or whatever, they take from that retainer. And if the retainer is exhausted, you reach out to the client again, and the client replenishes the retainer. And that's how the lawyer will get paid. But I don't have to deal with any of that. I don't have to chase people around for retainers or replenishment. We just get paid by the insurance company. That is correct.
I think this one is a good one. I don't want to chase people around because people are people everywhere. Even if they are on you both times 10, people are people everywhere. And with money, people don't power the way with money so easily. So for the law system in Canada, like because I know I've seen in movies that people maybe they're involved in criminal activity and they don't have lawyers to represent them. The government get them lawyers. On that ground, what happens on that ground? Government getting them. So that means government is going to cover all the cost of their representation, or what happens? Like if I get into a problem, I don't have a lawyer to represent me, and government gets me one.
That's a really good question. Everyone deserves to have legal representation at some level. So we can't all have the same standard of legal representation. But what the system has done is to provide legal aid. So legal aid would provide legal representation for folks making low income. So if you're making low income, legal aid they'll provide a lawyer for you to stand for you. So you're facing a really serious criminal charge, you can access a criminal lawyer through the legal aid system. Now the issue is people have raised concerns about the standard that they're getting from a legal aid lawyer. My personal experience is that I have seen legal aid lawyers that are just fantastic at what they do, and they bring the same level of passion, the same level of commitment and preparedness for their cases. So, I don't think it's necessarily, a bad thing to have a legal aid lawyer. And I also know that Nigerian lawyers, when they come to Canada, sometimes they go through the legal aid system to build up their practice. So, because it's a really good way to, the government is paying you and you're getting clients on a go. So that's a really good way to build your practice. I know Nigerians that do that here in Edmonton. Yeah.
Okay, nice. Thank you so much. Okay, so if I don't do injury lawyer, criminal, or any branches of law, like if I'm not in medicine, we call it that you are specialized. So I'm not specialized in any branch of the law. How do I make money as a lawyer? Let's say I'm not specialized, or I don't want to specialize. Nothing interests me.
Your question is about how do I make money in law? That's like
no, but barrister, wait. If See, for me, I'm a nurse. I love
Yeah.
nursing. A lot of people knows that I love it because the way I talk about it, it shows that this person really likes what they do. But I still know for a fact that people, they pay me for this service, right? That's
right.
why there's some jobs they'll call me for and I'll tell you, no, that's not my I want to do it, but that's not my word. So I just tell them up for I can't take your money. Right. So it still means that I still need the money I get from the passion to fulfill some roles in my life. Right. So
That's
I'm saying that it doesn't have to be much money. I'm just saying that what if I don't want to? I'm not specialized. Like right now, as a nurse, I'm not specialized yet. I'm just a general nurse, but I still get to earn. Okay, let me not use make money.
Yeah.
I still get to earn. So if I'm not going to specialize in law, like I don't want to be in jury, I don't want to be anyone, how do I earn in law? How do I still use my certificate to earn?
Okay, so you can be a general practitioner, right? There are two different ways you can do this. You can be a general practitioner where you are open to doing different things. So you are doing real estate, you're doing personal injury, you're doing criminal law, you're doing family law, you're doing everything combined together.
Okay.
So you can be a general practitioner. You don't have to specialize in one specific area of law. In fact, many people, when they start out their own practice, so if you open your own law, I don't have my own law practice, but if you open your own law practice, you can just do everything because you're trying to build your name, build a body of clients coming after you. So you can open your doors to everybody. It is not advisable to do that. I don't advise anyone to do that because I believe in specialization. I think you become
I do too.
Yeah, I think you become a really good lawyer if you're focused on one thing, and that's the one thing people know you for. People know you're the personal injury guy. Accident, it's David. People know that's what you do.
No, we know that.
I think it's much better that way because you get really good at doing that thing. The other way you can make money, as to use your own phrase, is that you can go into a non-legal profession or non-legal job. Your law certificate, your law degree can still be very attractive to corporations. So you can work in-house for a corporation. So you don't have to be a lawyer practicing law. You can still use your degree to do other things. You can work for the government as a policy analyst, for example. I know lawyers I know people that went to law school in UK, in Nigeria, that work for the provincial government or work for the federal government of Canada doing policy analysis. Some of them also, that is correct. And some people even do, they work, in very high level positions in insurance companies, banks. So there are different ways you can apply your legal education to succeed and to, to make money, to use your phrase.
No, but barrister, is there anything wrong with making money? Is there anything wrong with using that phrase? Because it's just like make money.
There's nothing wrong with it, but I just find there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. But I find that
we should talk more about passion, right? Passion.
I just feel like I just feel like the goal and the target has to be something else, because I think if the goal and the target is money, it just runs away from you. It runs away from you. But I think if your target is something else, it is, I want to help people today. How many people can I help today to get their compensation from the insurance company? If that's your focus, then that would come just naturally by itself. But if the focus is, oh no, I got to make X dollars today, the thing is going to run away from you.
No. That's not the way I run my business too. Of course, I don't go to work with, I have to make, no, I go to work with, okay, of course, I want to help. Yeah, of course. No, maybe it's the way I'm putting it. Yeah, so I was going to ask, so for the articling or something, for me to be able to do that articling for somebody, what are the criteria I should certify as a lawyer? Do I need to have a firm? Do I need to go under any, because when I started my driving classes, the driver told me that the government usually supervises them. They give them some tests. So before you can become a driver here, doing practice for others, you have to go through some tests. So before I can article anybody, I don't know if I'm getting that right, the pronunciation. What do I need? What are the criteria I need to have in place?
I think the requirement is 5 years at the bar. So I'm going to be 6 years at the bar this year. So I got my first articling student last year. So as soon as
somebody was carrying your bag and doing your errands.
I don't let him carry my bag. He doesn't carry my bag. I don't let him do that.
Okay.
But as soon as you're 5 years at the bar, you are allowed to have somebody. Actually, people can take two, I believe. So, but I do have one from last year. and you're allowed to start having articling students work with you. Yeah.
Okay, so when you mean at the bar, 5 years at the bar means 5 years of practice.
That is correct. Yes.
Okay. Okay. So then, is it that do I have to put out articles like I want articling student, or people just find me? Like, how do people find me?
Well, with the way things are going right now, people find you. Like I get resumes, like a lot of resumes, people looking for articling. And what I always remember is when I was looking for articling.
True.
I always remember when I was looking, it was tough. It was a tough.
Right?
I traveled everywhere. I traveled to Vancouver. I traveled to Toronto, Saskatchewan. I was looking all over Canada for articling before I finally found one. Somebody willing to take.
You found one in Edmonton here or in Calgary?
I found one in Edmonton here. It's somebody I'd known before. It's someone I'd known before I went to law school that said, you know what? I had sent my resume to him 3 times. So that was the 3rd time I was sending it. I sent it twice. He said he wasn't looking for anybody, but I kept sending it to him until he took me on.
Just imagine the persistence.
With looking for articling, you have to be persistent. You have to be comfortable taking no for an answer. There was one firm I was sending my resume to. The secretary or manager or whoever, she replied telling me never to email them again. We have received. She said we have received your resume 5 times, Mr. Sowe Memo. Don't email us again. We're not looking.
Email us again. My God! Wow.
Yeah. So you have to be persistent. You have to keep going. You have to be comfortable with the word no. And you have to be comfortable with people just not wanting to hire you. It's part of the process.
Wow. It's part of the process. Wow. So at this point, what do we have? Do maybe Canada generally, or maybe a body of some lawyers? Do they have anything in place to kind of have soft landings for? I'm not saying that pamper them, but like soft landings for lawyers that are coming from Nigeria or international lawyers coming in, or do they have anything? Maybe like programs that they can attend to, give them like information session. Is there anything in place like that currently?
In 2002, we are fortunate. I'm so happy to be able to say we have a lot of programs like that.
Okay, nice.
Before, we didn't have those programs. So there are now Nigerian Association of Lawyers all over Canada. So if you come to Edmonton, there are WhatsApp groups where you have Nigerian lawyers, NCA people that have gone through NCA. And more importantly, you have people there that own firms now.
Wow, nice.
Yeah, so you have Nigerians that have come in, they've succeeded, and they have their own firms. So what you can do if you are still looking for articling is to reach out to those people in nice, respectful way. So reach out to them, email them. As one of them will be able to connect you to those WhatsApp groups and those groups where you can connect with other lawyers. And you may be lucky enough that one of them is looking for an articling student. And you just never know that may be your pathway to becoming a lawyer.
Oh, nice, amazing. That's really cool. So for everybody watching this live, I would still say again that if you are, because I have lawyers watching, I don't know why they're not asking questions, but it's okay. So you want to follow that is his you can see his handle, that's his YouTube name. So you can just follow his page. He shares things about law and all that. So I'm going to ask this a question that just popped into my mind right now. So for your kind of law, for your injury kind of session of injury lawyer, if somebody eats my car and I hire your service to defend my honor, right? And then that case did not favor me as your client, do you still get paid? The insurance still pays you regardless?
It's a really good question. So we don't. I won't even take the case. It's very unlikely for me to take the case if I know it's a losing case. So before we even take the case at all, I would have analyzed the case really carefully to see if it's a case where we can get you something. We don't want to waste your time. When we get calls that come in, I got into an accident, I spend a lot of time dissecting how the accident happened before you hire me. So I'm kind of making sure that I don't want to waste your time or my time. So I review the facts of the case very carefully. Is this something where we can get something for this client? If it's not a case where we can get something for the client, I respectfully tell them we cannot help them, and I decline representing the person. And that saves everybody. That saves everybody the headache of, because most personal injury cases take well over 2 years before we get you any money. So in that, yes, it does take some time. It does take time.
So wait, who are those? If I'm the one at the receiving end, am I receiving the money from the person that offends, or the insurance company is paying me as well?
The insurance company of the person that offends
will pay me.
Will pay you because you are suing that person that offended, but they don't have any money. So and
it takes like 2 years. So am I going to repair my car before the 2 years?
Okay, so that's a really good point. So there are two different kinds of cases, right? So there is the damage to your vehicle, and then there is the injury to you. So the damage to your vehicle gets resolved in weeks. In 2 or 3 weeks, they pay you off for your vehicle. Okay. But the injury takes a long time because we want to take a very careful look at injuries. Okay. We don't want to settle the case quickly, then we find out that you actually had a spinal fracture that we never knew about. So we want to make sure that everything is carefully done. We document injuries carefully first before we resolve the case.
Yeah. Okay. I think I kind of have an idea now, and I like this session because I like things that I don't know about. I'm trying to know about it. You get, so it looks new to me, but of course I'm trying to catch up, and I'm really trying to understand it. So I just want us to kind of have a recap, because I don't think I have. Do we have questions, the audience? If you have questions, please drop it in the chat box. If not, we'll be rounding up this session. So I just wanted to ask a recap. For people coming from Nigeria, or some just say they have to go through their NCA to get started here. And for those that are looking at coming like fresh, you can start with applying for masters, which is a good way for you to get into, at least get into Canada first, then start looking at how to. I usually tell people something. Once you get here, there are Nigerians here that have done these things before, so you cannot be stranded. You will be stranded when you're not talking to anybody, when you are not raising like, oh, I need help. We have to know you need help before we can, come in. So when you get here first, at least you cannot be stranded of not to get help, of, oh, where do I start from? You always, and like I said, follow his YouTube channel and, get kicking from there. So I don't know, do I have any question again? I don't think I have any question again, Mark, for you. So what would be your words, maybe your words of encouragement to anybody coming here to practice, especially people coming as undergraduates? Because I think that's my major fear. When somebody is moving from a part of a country to another place as undergraduate, they are really young, number one. Number two, they have this low threshold for pain, pressure, and change of weather, and the fact that maybe the reading system is changing, food, money, especially money. Yeah. So as a student undergraduate, can you work? Do you get to work with the tediousness of your school? Do you get to work, like maybe to keep my body and souls together? How do you manage through school, getting money?
When I was an undergrad as an international student, I was able to work on campus. So when I first came in 2003, they gave us the opportunity to work on campus for 20 hours. If you're in Canada, that is nothing. That is 20 hours is nothing. So just maybe in my second year, they changed the visa requirements for international students, and they allowed us to work outside for another 20 hours. So what I did at that time, I had 2 jobs. I was working on campus 20 hours, and I also worked overnight at a warehouse. So as I was going to school in the daytime, I was doing 20 hours stocking shelf at some warehouse every 3 nights a week, and I'll be able to go to school during the day. So that is how I was able to do it. But just some final words, as you were saying, is there's going to be a lot of distractions. There's going to be a lot of pressure, as Nurse Ofela said. The pressure is just getting you ready for the glory days that are coming, because those pressure moments are not going to last long. So when you can't pay your rent, all that stuff, it's going to happen. It's normal. Everyone goes through it. But as soon as you can get past that phase, you're going to do really well. You're going to think back on those days, and you're going to smile about those days. but there's going to be a lot of distractions, as I said, and there will be people. One of the biggest issues you would have is people telling you things, telling you that, oh, you have to go and drive taxi first before, don't go to school. No, Nigerians can't do that here. You have to go and do something else first. I think you have to be very careful who you get advice from. And as I said before, there are lots of resources now with Nigerians that are doing excellent things. They have like groups on Facebook, on WhatsApp. Join those groups, connect with people. There are lots of superstar Nigerian people, lawyers doing big things around here. So connect with them, and you would have lesser issues going through those pressure moments.
All right, thank you so much. Yes, I just want to quickly ask this. So for international students coming here, maybe as undergraduate or especially as undergraduate, trying to do my master's. So when I pay my tuition, it doesn't cover accommodation. Like, like in Nigerian schools, they kind of give us some hostels. You might have to pay for it, the token, but they kind of give us hostels. So they don't have hostel packages for students here. They don't have
the tuition will not. The tuition, as I know, maybe it has changed, but as far as I know, the tuition package will not cover your accommodation. The tuition is for your tuition, it's for your academic, for schooling, for your classes.
Just for schooling.
Yeah, and what we did at the time was we were paying for credit hours. So for 3 credit hours, it's going to be maybe $600 or something at the time. So you are paying for specific classes. That is what the tuition is for. So you're responsible for your own accommodation. You're responsible for your own food, your transportation, all that stuff. Most of them are subsidized. Well, in Winnipeg, where I went to, they were subsidized. So you can get a bus pass that will take you. I've not said bus pass in a long time, so that's kind of you can get a bus pass that is heavily subsidized. So instead of paying $100, you may pay $50 for your bus pass that will take you around the city. So there are lots of opportunities, lots of programs. You have to research them and get the information, just so you are not overpaying for things.
Okay. So I was also going to ask this before we round up. But as a lawyer on any part, on any field, do you think we can get to a point that I would have nothing to do? Like, I'm just like, I don't have what to do. I understand this passion and everything, but do you think I get to a point where you're just like, there's nothing for you to do, like maybe no client, or you're just like, really, you're just not so busy? Yes, let me put it that way. Will you ever get to that point, or can it get to that point? Can happen in some weeks, like, okay, I don't have client this week, it's okay. But I'm saying generally, can it happen that maybe months and but I studied law, so what's happening? Yeah, can it happen?
I am yet to see a lawyer that is not crazy busy. I'm yet to see a lawyer that is not crazy busy. The legal profession will pull you in 1,000 ways. It's going to pull you in different ways. So to answer your question, I've never seen that happen where you don't have clients. You look at a lawyer's office, files are everywhere. Like, files are falling off the shelf. Like, it's just the process. And the truth of the matter is, people will always fight. There's always going to be dispute. It's a reality of life that disputes will happen between people. So when that happens, your lawyer is who you want to call to help you get through that process.
People always fight.
People always fight. There's always going to be disputes between people.
Sure. Just like people always fall sick, even if you pray and pray and pray, something will always happen. It doesn't have to be big, but something will always happen that you will need your doctor or your nurse or something. So thank you very much for this session. For me, it's really insightful. I have some ideas, I have some ideas about law. So I don't think anybody have a question, because there's no question in my chat box right now. So this DS Law guy is Instagram Andrew, right? And also
yes,
the YouTube, for YouTube. I don't know. Are you on Twitter?
I am on Twitter, but I'm not really. I'm on Twitter, but
anyway,
I'm not
really. So DS Law guy is Instagram Andrew and in YouTube Andrew. And in future time, if you need you again, of course, would always call the barrister. Thank you so much, barrister Sowe more, for doing this with me. I'm really grateful for your time, and thank you so much for exposure enlightenment. I got a lot of exposure. And one thing with live videos is that we'll still watch this video even in months, years. Yes. Best believe not really active. So best believe is that if they are not dropping questions now, you can have questions come up in 2 months on this same live. Where are these people? Yeah, so it happens because YouTube will always show it or like once the life is going really, really well. So we'll in the studio right now. So much, Barry. I would leave you to go now. I will go last, but I'll leave you to go now. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much. And I will stop time because I don't know. We have questions. I usually have a lot, so I was projecting that for today, but I think that is kind of spending up to an hour. Not bad. So thank you so much, Barrister So more, and I will say bye for now. I'll be letting you go now. So I can just remove it from my stream. I don't know what's wrong with this thing. I'm supposed to be able to remove it from my stream. Okay, anyway, so bye everybody. I will just end this live. I don't know what's wrong with this thing. I'm supposed to be able to end it now.